I'm walking towards the Roundhouse of the Alberni Pacific Railway. This railway is a tourist train experience for locals and visitors alike. It's operated by the Western Vancouver Island Industrial Heritage Society in Port Alberni on Vancouver Island. I recently uploaded a separate video that shows the detail of the train route and the railway's history. But this video today will show you the Roundhouse, inside and out. Here's where I am, near the Port Alberni waterfront, and the yellow circle is the Roundhouse area. And here's a close-up of the Roundhouse compound, and the yellow arrow is the direction I'm coming in from, as I'm about to meet Bruce, who is working in the yard, and soon I'll meet Lori, working inside the Roundhouse. There are 5 passenger coaches, 2 enclosed and 3 open air. I'm paraphrasing the words of David Hooper from the Industrial Heritage Society here. The coaches were formerly Canadian National Transfer cabooses. 5 cabooses were purchased by the City of Port Alberni and the Industrial Heritage Society, and then Society volunteers converted them into passenger coaches. The seats came from scrapped BC Transit buses. Each coach was named for a founding member of the Industrial Heritage Society that helped start up the tourist rail operation in the 1980s. Ed Sharp had been a conductor on the E&N Railway. Bill McNichol had worked on the local logging railroads. Doug Wilson is a guy that liked trains, and he restored the Bloedel locomotive at the McLean Mill. Richard Grandy and Mark Mosher worked on local logging railroads. And there you have it, the 5 passenger coaches of the Alberni Pacific Railway. And let's go inside and say hello. Here's the number 11. There are 4 items in this roundhouse: an operating diesel locomotive, an operating steam locomotive, a long-term restoration project on a steam locomotive, and a work speeder. I took my time in exploring the various angles and scenes in the roundhouse, doing a mix of still photography and video. Okay, here's the 112, formerly Canfor Railway. And let's look around the shop where I am. I do a lot of spinning around. There's just so much detail to see, but let's walk down this corridor beside the 112. The 112 is a 1923 Baldwin 262 ST. The ST notation is for saddle tanks. Even the lockers represent history in this roundhouse. I just love all the historical items in here, just giving tribute to the people who have worked here. Here's the history sheet on the 112. You can pause it and take your time reading it. When I was beside the 112, I couldn't help but think of the late Soup Campbell. I wish I could have met him. Moving on down to the front of the shop, the A6 speeder is used for maintenance of way work. It sure is cute. There's the 112 smoke box. And now let's show some attention to the Baldwin No.7. Baldwin construction number 60942, August 1929. Depending on where you go on Vancouver Island, this locomotive will be spoken of with different numbers. In Alberni, we call it number 7. And I think if you were in Chemainus or Nanaimo Lakes, you'd probably call it 1055. The number 7 is a 1929 Baldwin 282 ST locomotive. She worked for Alberni Pacific Lumber starting in 1941, and then continued at MacMillan Bloedel's Franklin River Division as their 1007. Of course, as already mentioned, she's ex-MacMillan Bloedel 1055 from her years working at Nanaimo Lakes and Chemainus in the 1960s and early 70s. And here's the bright red number 11 with freshly painted handrails courtesy of Richard. This is a 1942 General Electric diesel switching locomotive, ex-MacMillan Bloedel, and this is the locomotive that will pull the Alberni Pacific Railway's tourism train in summer 2024. I'm back at the front of the Roundhouse, wandering around. I like doing this voiceover after the fact because sometimes my video picks up private background conversations and I don't think it's right to include those on YouTube. And also there's a radio playing music, and I don't need copyrighted songs in case this channel is ever monetized. I had permission to climb up onto the number 11, and it gave me a nice elevated platform, and I got to look inside the cab and see how things were. I really don't understand the controls, and that's okay, but I was also able to walk out onto the ends of the locomotive beside the hood. Looking at this video again now as I'm editing and my photographs, I'm struck by how roomy the inside of the Roundhouse is, giving me lots of different photographic opportunities, such as looking back at the number 7. And now it's time to take advantage of my elevated platform and get some height for my photographs. That makes a really big difference, I've found, and I just had a lot of fun capturing this scene. 2 steam locomotives, each with a very different current situation, although they are both in the shed. The number 7 pulled the Alberni Pacific tourist train from 1997 until 2018, when a boiler retube project became necessary. That boiler retube project has been completed, and a successful steam-up test was done in late 2020. Just before I was finished, I took a look outside. I'm glad I did because I saw this deer. Well, big huge thanks to Lori inside the Roundhouse for his hospitality, showing me around. Yeah. Let's work our way back to the main line. Nice place. Lots of hardworking people on this Saturday.